Hey guys, how's it going? It's Era here. Before I show you this tier list, I just want to let you guys know that this isn't a tier list for the overall meta and how good each class is. It's a tier list to show how compatible each class is with the controller and how well it plays against keyboard and mouse. So once again, it's really a tier list for a controller. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoy the video and peace. For Archer here, I have it set to, as you can see, in B tier, the lowest on this list, which is ranked as just okay. Reason why is because, well, I've tested this class in ranked for about a few hours. I've tried every class for a few hours, but I mainly main the melee classes. But it's just set to okay because it can be pretty gimmicky. Aim assist feels really weird on both linear and dynamic. It's really hard to pinpoint like where you want to aim every time sometimes because the aim assist just feels weird. Like it has a habit of going straight for the chest, and it takes a little extra time to go for the head or legs. And the further you go, the weaker aim assist gets, which can be pretty bad, especially if you just play a keyboard best player that can just flick or wrist shot you with a quick arrow. So for that reason only, that's why. If you were to play this class, it'd also be better just to play it on mouse. That being said, it doesn't mean you can't be good on this class with a controller. It would just take, obviously, a lot of practice compared to, just playing keyboard and mouse. But that's why I have it ranked here. Doesn't necessarily mean it's bad, but it's just really hard to play against really good keyboard and mouse players on this class. Same thing for Sorcerer. Unfortunately, it's the same reason Archer. It feels really gimmicky, and the aim assist weakens the further you get, which means it's kind of bad. And then a huge thing with this class I've noticed is if you're playing against a really good Mark player or a really good Withered Knight player, they're obviously going to try and parry your spell attacks. And the aim assist has a natural habit of locking on, so it takes a little extra time to go for the legs or shoot the floor if you want the splash damage. And it doesn't take long. I mean, I guess if you get used to it, you can make it work, but once again, it would take a lot of extra time than needed. And I know some people will just say like, well, just turn off aim assist, and that would honestly put you at a huge disadvantage because this is a PvP game, and if you have aim assist off, you're gonna miss a lot of your spells or a lot of your arrows in these critical scenarios. Because unlike mouse and keyboard, where you're using your whole arm and hand to aim, you're only using your thumb. So if you have the aim assist off, you're gonna miss a lot more shots naturally, and at that point, you're better off just playing mouse and keyboard. So for that reason, it's just not optimized the best on Sorcerer. You can make it work, but it just takes a little extra time in getting used to when it comes to shooting the feet, shooting around the player to make sure he doesn't parry you. Even here you can tell I swapped the keyboard and mouse because it felt really weird on controller, and it instantly felt a lot better. I could shoot his feet, shoot around him. So for that reason I have it set to it's just okay. So hopefully they optimize it a little more. Now on to Wither Knight. I honestly love this class a lot. I played this one crazy amount on launch. Very fun class to play, like super fun. Not really the best in the meta when it comes to solos, I'd say, but it's still relatively good. I'd say it's more of a skillful class, to be honest. Works amazing with the controller. It feels nice, like everything just feels smooth when you run it. When you do the grapple or the spear throw, it can feel weird sometimes, but that's only 2 skills. You can kind of adjust to it really fast. So, very good. Against keyboard and mouse, a lot of times players won't even notice if it's a controller or mouse when you're using controller and Withered Knight. So that's a big plus. Would definitely recommend it if you do like this class and you're using it for ranked or competitive play, tournaments. Can 100% work in controller, so that's good. Now for Seer class, very good at controller. It feels really natural. Especially for solos, you're just swinging around the maze really. Or if you are using it for trios and you play more around spells, once again, it's super easy. The area of attack is super huge, so you don't really have to worry about you being too precise. It just flows naturally in controller, and same thing as the Withered Knight class. You generally won't notice if Seer plays controller or keyboard. It just flows nice. So I don't have too much to say about this one. Just that I didn't really notice any difference at all between keyboard or controller. So that's a plus. Now for Assassin, honestly feels amazing. It almost feels like it was made for controller. Everything flows nicely, aim assist is fine, melee feels awesome. So generally no complaints, it just kind of feels like you're playing Elden Ring PvP, Dark Souls PvP, Bloodborne, you know, all those games. It all just feels super nice. So if you were to play Assassin and you know, you're thinking, do I need to be on keyboard and mouse for this character? You definitely don't. It's amazing. So yeah, on to the next one. Now we're finally on to the Merc class. This is actually my main at the moment. I've played a lot of hours on this one for keyboard and mouse, and generally didn't feel a huge difference. Just feels super smooth, and they just did super well in this class once again. Feels like ELDENRING, Dark Souls, you know, the PvP in those games. Withered Knight, Merc, and Seer, Assassin, they all feel like naturally made. They feel like, you know, it could flow naturally if these classes were in Elden Ring. Prayer feels nice, swinging feels nice, whether it's on keyboard or controller, so that's what I love a ton. The only thing that can be weird sometimes is the shield bash, but I found that it can be weird on the keyboard as well anyway, because of the servers right now. But honestly, no complaints. I just have it S as feels amazing, feels natural. Hammer also feels nice. I played a lot of the hammer, and feels pretty much the same on both inputs, controller and keyboard, so that's really nice. And I also wanted to say I actually was only on keyboard and mouse, so I have a pretty good idea on what feels great. As I said earlier, the majority of the classes feel really nice, with the exception of ranged, unfortunately. Not that it can't work. Obviously, if you really love the class, it might just take a little extra time. It just feels a little more gimmicky than the others. The biggest downgrade by far, I'd say, was, as you saw in the tier list, Sorcerer and Archer. They felt pretty horrible compared to keyboard and mouse, whereas the others felt like could be really nice to play on. But Sorcerer and Archer felt like an easy pickup on mouse, and then on controller it kind of felt, I don't know, it just makes you wonder why you're playing it on controller, to be honest. It just doesn't feel like it's optimized the best. And now we're finally on to settings. I thought I'd give you guys a little update because I made a couple changes. Previous video is still really good, it still works, but I just let you guys know an update, because my last video I basically released on release, and the game was super brand new. So for settings on controller, I did test out dynamic again. I actually played a couple streams on just dynamic. I still prefer the near, but dynamic I'd say is really good. You just have to make sure sense is a little higher to make sure that you're turning around properly. Maybe like 10 or 15 higher than it would be on the near. I tend to like my game being super responsive and just feeling like, you know, I'm in control as fast as possible, so that's why I like linear. Only classes I'd say aren't good on linear are Archer and Mage. I actually advise against using linear on those two classes, unless it doesn't bother you, but it being so responsive tends to mess with your aim and be a little more shaky. But if that doesn't bother you, then, you know, I guess that does apply to you. But for most people, I would say play Archer and Mage on dynamic, and then for the rest of the classes on controller, either dynamic or linear, it doesn't really matter. Both classes are good. I prefer linear, you know, super fast. As for video, nothing really changed. Just make sure everything's low as possible. If you were to turn a setting up, I'd recommend turning view distance, that way you can see people in that general area a little more, and maybe post-pressing, but that's pretty much it between the two. Everything else super low. Sound, that's up to you. For game, the only setting I would turn off is this one. Most people seem to know, but client-side damage prediction, client-side hit prediction. It'd help with the rubber banding, desync issues. Unfortunately, there's still a little bit of bugs, but I'm sure the devs will post it, or patch it, sorry, in the future. But until then, make sure this is turned off. This is only really good if you have less than like 30 ping, even 15 ping. That's pretty much it. Hope you guys have a good night or morning, and peace, peace, peace.